Why does the white collar worker look down on the blue collar worker? Let's talk about it.
I'm Kenny Molotov, licensed plumber, professional magician, and entertainer. On this channel, I go through the ins and outs of my career in plumbing. I take you through a day in the life and we talk tools, theory, and mindset. I'm trying to give you an arsenal of knowledge and an online resource so you can take this trade head on and find yourself successful on the other end. Click subscribe, hit that bell notification, and let's talk pipes.
Peeps, Kenny Molotov here, and I wanted to talk to you about something that I don't know if it's to be considered controversial, but it's definitely a narrative in the trades. I think a lot of tradespersons feel like they get a lot of flack from the white collar worker. They kind of are looked down upon. They think of us as dirty, always walking around, lugging around steel toes and whatnot. And I want to shed some light about my experiences in the past and how I feel about the subject. And I'd love to know what you all feel as well. Let me know down in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. But here's how I feel. I feel like there's a little bit of a fake narrative at play. I don't think it's the case that all white collar workers look down upon the blue collar worker. That's the first thing that I have to say. I have met a lot of white collar workers that look upon the blue collar worker with admiration and with a lot of respect as well. I think that exists. And actually, I talk to a lot of people on the channel saying, you know, I work in an office. Man, I hate it in here. I'm really thinking about getting into the trades. I want to get my hands dirty sort of thing. So I do think there's a little bit of a conspiracy theory going on here. I don't think it's the case for everybody, but I do notice from time to time you meet individuals that you feel like, man, they're just bossing me around. Wow, they just don't have any respect for me whatsoever. You know what I mean? So here's a couple of differences that I've noticed which are pretty interesting. I've noticed that anytime I've met somebody that does look down upon you as a blue collar worker, or you just get that vibe, you know, and the thing is that you're trying to interpret somebody's feelings, which could be totally wrong. Maybe they're just having a bad day and it's somehow translating to you and you're the only one there and you're getting the brunt of it. That could be it. Maybe it had nothing to do with the fact that you're blue collar. But when you get that vibe, I've noticed that a lot of times that individual has probably never touched the kind of work that you're doing, or any sort of blue collar work for that matter. Every single time that I've met somebody that has given me great respect and they are a white collar worker, I have noticed that they are also individuals that have typically tried out doing the trades. In other words, they're the ones that were patching up their house and doing XYZ, and maybe they have a history in the trades as well. And that's where the sense of respect comes from my opinion, because you walk in as a plumber and they're thinking to themselves, oh man, thank God, I don't have to put in that bathtub, man. I tried that with my buddy 10 years ago. What a nightmare. You know, and I think getting your hands on the tools is part of that respect of the blue collar worker. When people realize that it's not easy whatsoever, we make it look easy when we're finally trained up and we know what we're doing, that people finally go, man, I really had no clue how hard it is to be a blue collar worker. I had no idea how hard it is just to drill a damn hole through a stud. I think some people have that mentality of, if you work with your hands, you're not intelligent. I'm under the impression that that's going to get weaved out at some point, because I think people are finally recognizing how much plumbers and electricians and HVAC technicians and everybody is getting paid in the skilled trades because of how much demand there is, and also how long the licensing takes. It takes 5 bloody years just to get your apprenticeship done. And you tend to meet a lot of really intelligent people inside the skilled trades as well. So I think over time that's going to get weaved out. People are going to have way more respect for the blue collar. So when I find somebody that's really kind of standoffish when you walk into their place and you got that kind of vibe of, oh, there's a blue collar worker in my house, I always tend to feel like they have never touched a tool in their lives and they just have no idea how hard it is, A, to do the work, and B, to make sure that the project happens fluidly. Sometimes people have great blue collar workers come in and they have no idea that they're great because they've never dealt with another contractor that wasn't as experienced, for example. So again, I do think there's a lot of respect given to tradespersons, and I think there's a lot of white collar individuals that have the utmost respect for what we do as we have for them. But you do every once in a while get the vibe that somebody's kind of going, well, you're coming into my house and you're charging me. And you know, and I don't know what to make of that, but I do want to say something that's a little bit strange to me. Even another contractor verified verified it as well. Here's the weirdest thing that I've experienced as a plumber, and it's this. More often than not, if I'm handed a tip by somebody, more often than not, almost 100%, and I kid you not, that person is less fortunate than I am. And that blows my mind all the time. It's always somebody that's underprivileged that wants to offer me a tip at the end of the job. I don't know what it is. I don't think I've ever had a wealthy family tip on top of that. For some reason, every tip has come from either somebody less fortunate than me or somebody at the same level as me. And it's just absolutely mind-boggling, especially when you know it's somebody that's less fortunate than me. So here's the thing. We've walked into this building, and this building is sort of like community housing. It is a social program that we have here in Ontario where if you're hard on times, you're gonna get housing for a cheaper price, etc. sort of thing. And almost every time we walk in there, somebody hands us $5. And we're like, look, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for thinking of us this way. You take the $5, you know, put it towards something that you need. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And like they'll force it into your hand. Just basically saying, look, I really am thankful that you came. Thank you so much. Have a coffee on me. And it's like beautiful things that can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody just basically saying, I really appreciate you coming to my place and fixing my drain. You know what I mean? Like as a plumber, you just feel so valued, and you feel like, man, if I was appreciated like this in every job, I mean, there's a lot of satisfaction there. There's a lot of satisfaction that comes from that. And it's a really beautiful moment. I do think that some people don't recognize that. I do think some people just don't know, you know, how much work and hard work goes into you doing the labor around somebody's house. I just don't think some people recognize that as plumbers, we're on our hands and knees a lot of the days, and we're deteriorating our body, even though we're doing something we love, to make sure that somebody else has clean drinking water and also a clear drainage system so that water doesn't back up into their unit. I do think some people see that and they go, man, I really appreciate you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming out. And I think there are some white collar workers that see you come after hours and they're like, man, thank you so much. Can I get you a drink of coffee? No, I insist. Let me get you a water. Let me get you a coffee, etc. So I don't want to trash the white collar worker. I think the white collar worker does respect us. I think there's a lot of people that are in the white collar that respect us. But every once in a while you meet a prick, am I right? Just a person that kind of looks at you like, bro, get out of here. I can hire 10 other guys that are better than you for cheaper as well. And you're sitting back going, bro, find your 10 other guys. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. But I do want to end on a positive note. Here's what we have to remember. The blue collar needs the white collar and vice versa. We all need each other. So instead of spreading hate and being frustrated with a lot of people and like that one prick that you meet, you know what? Here's what you got to recognize. At some point, that person's going to recognize how hard this work is. At some point. Hopefully. And a lot of us know how hard it is to sit inside an office and do work like that. A lot of us, the reason why we're not doing that is because we all hate it. We hate the mind-numbing feeling of being in that same cubicle all the time. And that's why a lot of us are like, nah, it ain't for me. I'd rather go break cement right now than go do that. You know what I mean? So we all need each other. We all need accountants. We need bankers. We need doctors. We need everything. So we go by the very same rule, the foundational rule of society, which is you respect me, I'll respect you. Peeps, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. This is an interesting topic. Let me know of any horror stories you've had. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you plumbers really soon. Kenny Molotov, guys. Peace, baby.